Wow. So the woman goes to her hairdresser and she's so excited because she's telling him that she's going to Rome. And the hairdresser said, "Ugh, why would you want to go there? And what airline are you traveling on?" And she told him. He said, "They have terrible service. It's absolutely awful." "Okay. And where are you staying?" He said. She said, "Well, I'm staying in a hotel right near we're not far from the Vatican." "Oh, the oldest hotels. They're absolutely despicable. They're awful. Why would you want to do that?" "What else are you going to do when you're there?" "Oh, well, we want to go see the Pope." "Why in the world would you want to go do that?" "Because you're going to just see a little figure about this guy. You're not going to see the Pope. I just don't really get that at all." So she returns for her next haircut, and he goes, "Well, how did it go?" She said, "Wonderful, wonderful. The plane was overbooked, so we got first class seats. And the hotel, they were renovating it, and so we got to stay in the owner's suite." And what about the Pope?" He said, "It was just amazing. They brought me into this special room in front of like tens of thousands of people, and the Pope literally came over to me and whispered in my ear, 'Who in the world gives you that horrible haircut that you have?'" We bring it to us, do we not? We bring it on, do we not? For the next 3 weeks, inclusive of this one, we're going to be talking about leaders in unity. We're going to talk about how to share unity, how to be unity, and how to live unity from a consciousness, because it's all consciousness. What you focus on, you bring upon you. Just as the experience of the hairdresser, everything was negative, so bringing on negative. So what are you dipping your toe into? Are you dipping your toe into 2020 will go on record as being the best year we've ever lived? Because if you're dipping your consciousness in that, your consciousness, your awareness will make that so. What are you leading people through during this time? So many people talk about how awful and horrible and this and that, but how many people are really going, "Wow, this will go on record as transforming us forever. This will go on record as bringing us to a heart-centered reality because we're not so busy with our appointments. But we're looking at what is this appointment we call life, yes?" So one of the things I loved about the military, notice I said one of the things that I loved about the military was basic training. Because I observed through those 8 weeks that often when I would get the least bit uncomfortable in my life as an athlete or otherwise, I would stop. But yet the basic training in the military, they pushed me to go somewhere that by myself I wouldn't have gone. And so it's something to look at in your life as you ask the question, as a leader in unity, have I gone as far as I can go? Do I stop when it starts getting uncomfortable? Do I stop when people test me or say, "And you believe that?" Do you stand boldly in that and go, "Yes, I do. Not only do I believe it, it works for me." Can we get a little clap here? So it's that kind of energy in space, in that energy, that the space that you hold. I think about that young college graduate that he goes and he talks to this old farmer, and he can't wait to tell him about what he's learned. And he said, "Oh, it's this new thing, this new way of scientific farming, and it's just super duper, and you're going to love it." And the farmer said, "Son, I really respect you, but here's the thing. I'm still learning how to do what I already know and how to do it better." That's what the basics are about in our teaching, is utilizing what we know and doing it better. Being bold, being brave, and when you look outside your life and you say, "Look at what's happening out there. I apologize to you, but you know what? You have to own some of it. You have to own some of it. You have to take your part in it. You have to, instead of talking about everything going on out there and what those people are doing and that group's doing, you have to own it and say, well, what am I leading people to do? What am I leading people to be a part of? That's what I've noticed about a lot of unity leaders. They want to give great speeches, but then they want to settle in and be accepted by everything and everyone and be more passive. This is not that kind of time. This is a radical time. This is a time to really get loud. This is a time to stand forward. This is a time, don't let people shut you up and say you sound political. You say, I am the spiritual person immersed in human law, and I represent the rights of humanity. There's nothing political about the rights of humanity. Are we on the same page? Do we get that check mark? And so it's how we express who we are. Many years of practicing, many years of learning how to use a glove to become an All-American, many years of learning just how to hold the bat just so, and many years of how to stand a certain way or turn my feet a certain way, as I was going to tell those people in the outfield, you can't go far enough because this ball's going over your head. Many years of practicing that space. But you know, we could have practiced and practiced and practiced, but at some point, we had to go out and deal with some opposition. We had to go out and see how we were coming along with the team. We had to go out and make some noise and see what adjustments we have to make. We're not immersed in a world-shifting teaching so that we can keep it to ourselves with our 3 people in our Tupperware group. This is about a world of understanding. Our world is not broken. But before we can get people to see that, we have to get people to realize that they are not broken. Because as long as you believe fundamentally that you are broken on any level, your emotions, your psychology, your whatever you are, and that you are broken, you are weakened. You are weakened by the need to be liked. You are weakened by the way of wanting to go and hide. You're weakened by the way of toning down your warrior aspects. You are not broken. Say that with me. I am not broken. The world isn't broken. But as long as people are chanting that, and you're not chanting that we're not broken, the ones that are chanting you are broken are the loudest voice. What voice do you want to be the loudest in our world today? That's your question. How are you living it? I love the statement when we look at God and we look at that reality. As I've said repeatedly, it doesn't matter what you call God. What matters is what you believe about God. People can get in a room and debate and argue. I don't call God that. Wow. It's irrelevant to the fact of what do you believe about God. And one of the best things that New Thought taught me is that God is impersonal, but personal to you in your own identification and in your own connection and in your own relationship. God's impersonal. There's not a few chosen people. There's not a few favorites. There's not a few that have something a lot easier. It's about God is impersonal, but personal to you. If you believe in good karma, then that's what you're having. If you believe everybody else gets a good break and you don't, then that's what you're having. But God doesn't have anything to do with that. Oh, no, you have everything to do with that. And the way that you are sharing your life. Owning responsibility. Facing opposition of whatever it is your opportunity, my opportunity to prove to ourselves how this works. Of all these years in our practice of how this works. We are ready for a radical change in our society. We are ready for a radical movement. And we must teach, and we must preach, and we must reach for sure. You know, we teach that, God is inherently good, and that you are made in the image and likeness of God. But I don't think we do the best job at that. I think that sounds more like a bumper sticker or a cliche. I am made in the image and likeness of God. You know, I don't think we really tell you it's your image of God that will rule your life. It's your image of God that will express your life. If you aren't happy where your life is, look at what your image of God is. If you're not happy with what your relationship is or your finances are, if you're not content, if you're seeking something different, if you aren't content with the way that your social reality is, what is your image of God? We must look at that. And we must, as a leader in unity, see it as a moral responsibility and obligation to let people know globally what an image of God can look like, that's all loving, that's not judgmental, that doesn't shame, that doesn't think that you're inadequate and want to punish you and want to end your life early just because you're frustrating to God. We must stop teaching our children that God is in the sky, all white, angry, judgmental, won't bring you Christmas presents, because we will continue to have leaders that are that same action and that same way. Because if that's what your image of God is, then it feels comfortable to you to have leaders in your world be the same. In order to change the leaders in our world, we must change our image of what God is, and we must teach people that accordingly, you see. We must, because it has been repeated time and time again. I remember getting down to my knees here at our campus in the playground because I had the good privilege of knowing a little boy that could future see. He was a visionary. He could predict to his parents that we're going to be moving soon. We're going to be buying a gray car soon. We're going to be, Mommy and Daddy, we're going to be doing this soon, you see. And that was the way he was. But they took him out of the Montessori because there was more funding, you see, that he would get in a traditional setting. He could get more toys and more playthings so that they could tell him, your gifts are of the devil and you can't use those anymore. That's not good. That's not good. And he shut those gifts off, you see. That is not okay. It is not okay. If we're going to lead with unity, we have to accept that we can have funding. We have to accept that we have all the financial means that we could ever want. We must accept that we are the big ones, not those big ones, but that our image of God is so great, and we came here for a reason. We can't just tick-tock, tick-tock, our lives going by. When's it going to happen one day? So-and-so's going to happen. When is it going to happen? I don't know. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. It's on us. It's on us. If you're so into talking about how you co-create with God, then you don't blame God with what you see. I'm sorry. You co-created that. We must shift our awareness. And we must continue to grow leaders to understand that, to be bold, to step up there, to stop worrying about being accepted by the same 20 people, but to build a massive following in the world that says it is our time. We've been waiting long enough, and the reason we've been waiting, it's on us. It's not on God. It's on us to step up there. It's on us to take first seat. It's on us to take the leader. It's on us to meet the opposition and say, here we are. Hallelujah, here we are. But it's tuning into that. It's tuning into that. You know, it fascinates me. You know, the bank owns my money, and they have it until I can figure out a magic way to put in my user and my password so I can access it. Because if I can't do that, I don't get to play with it. You understand what I'm saying? And don't you sometimes just go, oh, heck, did I name it after my dog or my cat or my ex-lover? What is this password, for goodness sakes? Where is it? Because goodness knows they tell you not to put it anywhere because, somebody might see it. So you try to operate everything with memory, and you only have like 80 passwords that you're trying to remember, capital letter, exclamation mark. Oh, I don't know. Did I put an asterisk there? I have no idea. Bam, bam, bam. You have tried too many times, blah, sorry, we can't serve you. It's like, this is my stuff. What do you mean you can't serve me? It's my money. It's my account. I paid you to access these movies. What do you mean I can't get in? You want to use your username, the one that the image of God has created recognizes. Not this pathetic little apologetic self, but this user that says, I was born for this. God sent me. I am the Christ consciousness. I'm here to transform this planet. I'm not going to be little anymore or associated with any organization that's little. If they're not big, I'm not in. I'm stepping in. I'm stepping in. I'm stepping up. Here's my password. I accept. It's my calling. Say that with me. I accept. It's my calling. Wow. The beauty is we have work to do. We have work to do. We have transformational, lifelong work to do to really create the new reality of not a broken world, of not 2 or 3 people that are telling us how broken the world is, so that while you're focused on your brokenness, don't you realize that's a distraction? I mean, that's passive aggressiveness 101, is it not? You go to your boyfriend and say, I'm not happy with your behavior, and they go, well, I'm not happy with yours. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. What did they do? They just distracted you. You see what I'm saying? So you want to create this non-distracting feel that says, I know my username, I know my password, I'm stepping in, and I'm stepping all the way in. And by the presence in which I live and move and have my being, I am leading these principles in a non-apologetic way, with fire. It's time for New Thought to be the leading teaching in the world. There's no excuse, and there's no reason for it not to be so. So there's a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job, and everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have. It's your time. If you want our climate to be different, create leaders. If you want your children to have better choices, create leaders. If you want the world to celebrate a loving, all-accepting, all sexual orientation, all ways of being, create spiritual-led leaders. Spiritual-led leaders. Spiritually fed leaders. Creative leaders. Everybody thought that somebody was going to do it, and everybody was waiting while nobody was doing anything, and we have stayed in the closet with that pathetic excuse long enough. It's time to take it over and do what we know needs to be done. Bless you.